Hey everybody, and welcome to the Shadow Artist Experiment Season 3! Season 3! As always, I'm your host, Josh Bell, and with me is the lovely Gabby Creery. I screwed it up. Creery. Why is that so hard for me?
Because you like query.
I do like query.
You like
so
the inquiry.
I just want to state that this is actually our second take, and the first time I did get it right.
He did. One time in a row.
One time in a row. So maybe that's one of my things this season is I'm going to try to do it every time, twice. Once at the beginning and once at the end.
Oh, then you'll just be replicating me. That's boring. I do everything twice.
Well, I have to do it twice because at the end we have to give we're gonna change things a little bit. We're gonna give our social media and stuff.
Okay.
So that people can follow us.
Okay.
Because we've been
follow the social media.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've been really bad about that. So season 3 is a new book and more.
New book.
All new book. Same old Julia.
Yes.
I don't want to say same old Julia. She's always so always so good, so great. But first, I want to backtrack a little bit, and I want to discuss a little bit about season 2. So it was a 12-week program like this. We did the Prosperous Heart. So what, from what we can remember, because oh my God, it feels like forever.
It feels like ages. It's fall out here. I'm wearing a jacket. It's cold.
Yeah,
today.
but really, it was only 2 months ago. Yeah. So over those 12, 16, 18 weeks, how did we change and how did we grow?
Because we could have had a couple babies in that amount of time.
16 weeks? 18 weeks?
Oh, weeks. Sorry, I was thinking months.
Yeah, no.
I did the wrong math. Sorry.
Gabby, just because we bring
Puppies.
it up. Yeah, we could have had a puppy. Sadly, my puppy will, one of the things recently is my puppy will no longer be having puppies. So we can take him to the dog park now. He's all healed up. He's great. He got used to the cone, but he has no cone any longer.
Kind of shame.
So that's where my puppy is at. Just so you're all checked in. How's your puppy actually?
My puppy's
before
great.
we get to do our 18 weeks.
Kelly is like what I always wanted to be. She is like the local celebrity. Everybody knows Kelly by name. She walks around town, and everybody's like, Kelly!
As somebody who was once a local celebrity and somebody who married somebody who was once a local celebrity, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Oh, I love tagging along and soaking up Kelly's. There is only goodwill towards Kelly. She's a local.
That's true.
She's
That's
like
a different
Sesame Street. It's like walking the streets with Elmo or Grover. There is no bad will towards Elmo. There is no bad will towards Kelly.
That's true.
Kelly is. I just radiate in the Kelly sunshine.
So actually, a good transition there is, I have a husband, and I did that over those 18 weeks.
Yay!
I had a husband.
You got a husband.
Gabby was there.
I did not.
Gabby did not. What else? Highs and lows of work.
Prosperous heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Prosperity.
Highs and lows. Yeah. There's a lot of prosperity. There's a lot of it did bring.
There are a lot of life lessons.
A lot of life lessons.
You started things, let go of things, realized that they worked and didn't work. And started again.
Yes, and
really flow. You hit a flow, ebb and flow.
I did have an ebb and flow. I feel like you did too, though, in a lot of ways, because we started it right at the beginning of swim.
Ugh.
We did, right?
Yeah,
we started
we did.
And so
talk about ebb and flow.
Yeah, and then there was there's a lot of the flowing when you're in the swim, and there was that ebbing at the end, and then there was a flow that turned out to be an ebb.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening. And
Julia and Michael Singer. I know we're on Julia, but those two authors are the ones that have kept me sane through my ebb times.
Yeah. So let's hone in on where we are at now. Where would you say you're at now? Going into this new book, right before we get started, what are you looking forward to? What are some changes you want to make?
I like sticking to Julia. I really love that we have changed from recovery to discovery.
Yes.
We talk about agnostic, and we've talked about, and she's so heavy on God. Right off the bat, we're gonna go God, God, God.
Well, it's really funny.
But Julia's God is, for me, an acceptable God.
Yeah,
Gabby. I can be with this God.
I do love, right before we were talking, she kind of says, Julia, like, Julia's God is my God. Like, I could do that. I could be there.
Yeah, I'm down with Julia's God.
But what's really beautiful about that, though, is that, like, it goes back to, like, that kind of, that's almost such a change from where we were when we first started this in season 1. It's almost such a change because I remember the conversations that we were having about it, like, oh my God, how would, like, also not just the conversations that we're having about it, but the conversations that we had in, like, the couple of groups we were, like, talking about God. And, like, now it's just kind of, like, part of us. Like, yeah, we're all creators. Like, we all do this. We're all artists.
Yep.
I do like to picture, so I just had this image. I pictured God as, like, this great painter, and that he's painting this picture of other painters, and we are the other painters in the picture. And I was like,
painting the other painters and
painting the other painters. Yeah,
I love that.
I love
that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's something we can get behind.
God is Bob Ross.
God is Bob Ross.
I may dress Kelly up as Bob Ross for Halloween this year, guys. I have to say, the two leading Kelly costumes at the moment are on Oompa Loompa. Look these up, and Bob Ross. If those two dog costumes do not make you happy in your heart, do not make you giggle, then there's no hope for you in this world.
I'm still voting for the Oompa Loompa, to be completely honest. I think it's so cute. She's the right color for it.
I have a Willy Wonka hat. I could be Willy Wonka.
Oh, that would be so cute.
And she could be an Oompa Loompa. Mia wants to do Veronica. Or no, she wants to, the Violet. Violet, you're turning Violet!
Oh my God, like as a big, like...
No, she's just going to do the purple,
all
purple. I know.
That would be, well, no, you don't.
Inflatable Violet would be much more fun.
Well, because like...
That would be such a moment, like you're regular Violet and then you're like inflating.
Oh my God, you should,
Get one of those
that
costumes.
you should, maybe you should wait until next year. Give Mia time to like design it.
I know.
She would
the
be
inflatable Violet.
The inflatable Violet.
You get one of those sumo wrestler costumes, you know, and they're just air.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
Violet, you're turning Violet.
That would be so cute. I love it. So.
All right. So
let's talk about walking in this world.
And the main change of walking, there are two big changes. So I named one Discovery instead of Recovery, which I liked Discovery. We talked about the whole God aspect, being curious. I'm curious about God.
Yeah.
I'm God curious. I'm God curious. And I love that that's where she turns everything.
Yeah.
Somebody said, stay curious. That's like a big quote. I don't know who said that. Who said stay curious?
It was in The Artist's Way.
Okay.
It was one of the quotes in The Artist's Way.
Yeah, just stay curious. And when you come from a curiosity in life delights. So I'm God curious. Discovery is great. And it's really great. Also, I think that we are in discovery as opposed to recovery at this point.
Yeah, I feel like yes.
Yes and no. I mean, there's always...
I feel like I'm 2 foot into discovery, but I still have that one hand back in, like, because I think of like, okay, so addiction. I moved through addiction. I've done that. Like, I'm on the other side of that.
You're on the other side. As am I.
But there's still all of like, there's still that recovery from childhood that I'm still working through. But so that's where I say, like, sometimes I really have to delve into that, like, just that recovery part.
That's interesting because I told you I've been doing like the relax and release and with Michael Singer, and he talks about that the mind is a muscle, much like our muscles are muscles, right? You can, with an exhale, you can release tension in your body. Mm-hmm. That's easy. We do it all the time. So the mind you can release as well, and it's like playing the scales in piano. You might not want to do it all the time, but it certainly helps that, like, to play Beethoven, you need to first do this. So
I remember that Dakota Fanning quote from she did that movie Uptown Girl with Brittany Murphy. She's like, fun means fundamentals.
Fundamentals. So
that's exactly what you're talking about.
His fundamentals are like, when somebody pisses you off in line at ShopRite or driving is a big one, right? The road rage. When that comes up, instead of allowing it to ruin your day, choose something else. Choose a mantra. Oh, they're driving the way they want, which means I can drive the way they want. It's about not letting the world dictate your mood.
Yeah.
But the interesting part of all that is going back to what you were talking about is when you release all the little things, the big stuff from the past comes back. I haven't figured out how to release that. So
yeah. I love this. So I was talking. I don't remember what I was. You've
actually made room to release it now. You made the space.
So when you're doing so when we're in this discovery point, I feel like this is the kind of thing that happens. Is like,
and that's a discovery too.
Oh, I remember where I heard this. My Kundalini yoga course. So he's talking about like when you're the guy that's running the course is talking about how when you're like learning this, you're doing like the meditations and stuff like this, and stuff will come up because it's basically like your mind is like this bed of leaves, right? And basically when you're doing the meditations or when you're working through stuff like Discovery in the book, you're basically dropping like a basketball into those leaves. And if those leaves are all your thoughts and emotions, they come up. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about. Like we can...
I love it. So
that's so good, right?
Sarah talks about a lake, but I like the leaf for fall. It's fall, so that big flurry pile of leaves coming up. Oh, it's just a flurry pile of leaves.
Yeah, but
and they settle back down if you allow for it.
Or
relax and release.
Or it's like every one of those leaves is basically a gunshot. You're traumatized because that's what happens with certain things that are in your head. So, but yeah, there is a balance that has to come to it too, because I mean
your head is that's what Michael Singer is talking about, is that your head's just another muscle, and if you don't practice that muscle, it's going to go crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is if you're not
in the art of practicing it.
Yeah, if you're not in the art of practicing it. And that's kind of like what Julia's talking about with her daily tools. So today we're going to be...
daily practices, which we get into. Like,
yes.
And it's very similar. Like, Julia does not do a lot of modification. She sticks with what she knows works.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Well, and I love... So one of the... Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's start with the daily practices for everybody who's tuning in for the first time.
Well, one of the daily practices is our big change.
Yes. So we'll move into that one first. Okay. So... I don't know.
Which is kind of
I'm
the
just
name
like
of the book.
I'm just like
holding
this coffee, and I don't know what I'm doing with it. So, okay, so we've done the walking before. We have, because we did it in the Prosperous Heart.
Yeah.
So the one thing, there's a couple changes that I want to make moving forward, and we just have to talk about it. So the first one is I want to plan our artist dates the week before. So since we have the introduction, it makes sense, right? Like we can plan our week 1 artist date.
It creates some integrity around it too.
Yeah,
I really like that.
And I feel like we have a lot of, like, I feel like you and I both get in the habit of being like, well, this is my artist date.
Well, I'm doing it now.
Yeah, I'm doing it now. And I feel like we need to really hone and focus in on the date part.
The date.
Well, it's true, because she talks about that. It's supposed to be an artist date. And sure.
Setting it up. And holding yourself in
yes.
And it's also the anticipation of planning something.
Yeah. And I mean, we can
looking forward to something, not just it happening to you and I'm like, oh, I am finding myself upon this artist date, which is nice every now and again. And you know, in Artist Way, she gets to that. Yeah. That life is an artist date.
Yeah. No spoilers unless you haven't read it. You're not following along with us. But
is an artist.
Yeah, I think we'll do that at the end, like, because then if we want to have a little discussion and talk about like what we can do, because I feel like our listeners will actually be interested in that. Like, what do we find as an artist date?
I'm with you. So mine is totally planned and on the calendar right now. Mm-hmm. In this moment, I have my artist date lined up. And tonight is the Jersey City Artist Studio Tour kickoff. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking myself to the kickoff party, baby. Aww. I'm going to get some art. I'm going to have some community. I'm going to have some conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like this is an artist date by yourself, but I'll let it go because...
No, I'm not going with anybody. I'm going to take myself there.
Okay.
I probably will meet people.
Yes, you can't help that. It's Jersey City.
If I go, but listen, if you go to a museum, we had a talk with a guy at the museum. He says hello, blah, blah, blah. I'm going on my own. I probably will see people.
Okay.
I'm actually there to see people and to see art.
Yes. JCast is so fun. If you have a chance, go out and do JCast.
It's Christmas in Jersey City, folks, this weekend. All weekend long, you're unwrapping gift after gift after gift. It's so good.
Yeah.
Art and music and drama and theater.
I don't know. I don't know what my art... Like, I know I have so much, like, it's really funny because I actually have a very busy week planned, and I will try to fit it in. I'll figure it. I'll think on it, and I'll fit it in by the end. Ask me again later. So,
hey,
no,
you totally
later.
prepped me for this. You're like,
I know, but I
know what your artist date is, Gabby. I'm gonna ask you.
I also said we're gonna talk about it at the end, and you're like, well, I have it right now, so let me tell you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll figure it out by the end. I'll figure it out by the end.
Stay tuned, folks.
Stay tuned. Yes. So the second one is walking, and I think that this season our dog walks should not count. So folks, we talked about this beforehand, and Gabby's like literally did like a spit take when we were talking about it. She's like, we're gonna do it again, and she's like she I don't know that look on her face, but well, here's the thing.
Why?
Okay, so
I don't get it.
So my
I don't understand. Yeah. Okay.
My reasoning for this is that it is. Like, I feel like we can take other people, with us, but I feel like it should be.
She does talk about that. It's not like an artist date.
Yeah, it's not like an artist date.
She
but
talks about walks being really good times to share and commune with other people.
Yeah, but I feel like with a dog, is that you are very much focused on the dog. I mean, if you're doing it right, I will say that
I'm not doing it right.
I'm definitely not doing it right most of the time. But there is that, like, you are, like, you're stopping, you're not really good, like, you're not, when you're walking with somebody for the sake of walking, I feel like there is a little bit more of a free flow to, like, where you want to go, like where you're leading. There's a little bit more communion with the environment than you can get with a dog. So that's one of the reasons why I think that we shouldn't do it. And it's only a 20-minute walk. It's not like...
And I do them. I have to say, my friend Melody and I get together and we do our walks.
This is more complicated for me than you.
At least once a week we do our walk. I will definitely do the studio tour, and hit me up, folks. I will be walking all weekend long. Do you want to get a walk with Gabby? I should start my own studio tour walking group. There is a biking group. If you guys look up JC Bikes, they take tours of all the different hubs of the studio tour
you went
in
on
Jersey
last year,
City.
didn't you?
I did. I had such a good time.
Yeah. We are basically a JCast commercial right now.
We totally are.
We totally
it's
are.
on me. I just look forward. This is like one of those events I look forward to all year.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's good energy, folks.
So
get your art on. Ooh, that would be a great slogan. Get your art on.
Get your art on. Though it does sound like hard on. So
even better.
Yeah. So
for you.
Yeah, it's true. You are a heterosexual woman. It's fine for you as well.
It would be great. I am a heterosexual woman without any access to that at the moment. Yes?
I have a challenge for you throughout this.
Oh no. I have a feeling what you're gonna say. Oh no, Josh.
Gabby, you
have a date.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, Gabby.
Artist date. My date is supposed to be with myself.
No, Gabby, this time I'm not saying do it. I would say you should have 2 throughout the 12 weeks. So 1 within the first 6 weeks and 1 within
a lot of commitment.
Yeah. So I feel like that's part of this.
Can they be the same person, or do they have?
Yes, they can be, like, because if some reason you hit it, if you hit it good in once, I'll give it to you.
Hit it good once.
You hit it good once.
She's like, let's go back for more of that.
Exactly. But I feel like if we're talking about, like, we're over recovery, like, this is something that you're recovering from. So now it's time to actually go out there and discover it.
Discover
the fishes in the sea. But whereas I have to think on the artist date, I feel like if I'm giving you a challenge, that you have to do the same for me. So you have until the end, and we'll exchange my artist date for your challenge.
Okay.
Does that feel fair? I'm not gonna ask you to do anything if you're not gonna, like, toss anything back at me. It's unfair. This is all about equality. But think on it.
All right.
So,
challenge for you.
Okay. So the other
guys, what do you want Josh to do this
don't.
time
We're not
around?
polling the internet. So the final thing of the basic tools, which is something that she's used in all of her books is just the morning pages. That's 3 pages. It's really funny. I'm cutting out here, but my program that I'm doing, I require the morning pages, and it's a daily thing. So I'm like, every video, these are like 5 to 10 minute videos, I'm ending the video with, and make sure you do the morning pages. That's 3 pages handwritten. Don't do it on your computer. And I feel like I've just got it like 3 pages handwritten, write it out.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I find that when I stick with the morning pages and the artist dates, life is good. That's the secret sauce. It really is. If you just do those 2 things, I'm a lot less crazy.
Well, and to be fair, you also do the walking though.
I do the walking a lot.
Yeah, so you actually do all 3 of the things.
I do all 3 of the things. Yeah, on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I've gotten like, I'm pretty good. I generally do like, I think the worst week I've had is 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
So it's like I've been doing really well.
I'm in a good. I for a while there, I was on a real morning page slump. It was very like if I was getting 2 out of 7, I was good.
Yeah.
And I never let go of it entirely, I got to say. So
Yeah.
I stayed with it, but there was just these slumps. Right now, we've started a Zoom morning pages group. And I'm thinking about starting a stretch and write, like stretch and then do whatever it is that you need to do for the day. Morning pages, something like that.
Yeah, I've been on a personal note, like this isn't something that Julia asked for. I've been making it a point to do 500 words, 500 words writing. So like every day.
Somebody just got flowers at my house, folks. Just saying.
Is it your house actually?
Well, it's not my house. It's the building that I live in.
Wouldn't it be
They're
funny if it was your
pretty.
daughter's? Your daughter bought herself flowers.
That would be really awesome.
And also
I have to do flowers for her studio. Like we need to do a little. My daughter got a studio space. Speaking of really cool artists.
Oh, and speaking of something that happened, like in the interim. So yeah.
Yes, and she's got her own studio space, and she is rocking and rolling in it. She. I can't tell you what she has in there because she's not announcing that to the world. But let's just say.
Spoilers.
Let's just say that she can solder a bracelet to your wrist. Let's just say that. She made this.
Yeah, that's public though. You can say she can actually do that.
Yeah, she's got the big tank, so.
Oh really? So okay,
It's cool.
so
it's really cool.
this is all about like the one thing that she really talks about. She really talks about this season is that what she really talks about in this book. Just to bring it back as we're finishing up, because I feel like this is going to be a smaller one, a smaller podcast.
We've gone over the introduction.
Yeah, but I feel like the big thing that she talks about is that it's discovery. It's exactly like, but what I love about this book that's different than The Artist's Way is The Artist's Way has just the tasks at the end of the chapter, and there's like 10 of them, and
you get to discover
that
the tasks, they kind of pop out at you now.
Yeah, they kind of pop out
in the middle, and
I love
in the
that.
middle of a chapter, she's like, "Oh, by the way, do this."
Yeah, and I love that because I'm
You're liking that?
I do. I really like that. And it's fun because it gives me like, it doesn't. Well, she talks about this in the introduction actually, so it's really nice because you kind of walk through this book and you have to pause as you're reading it, and that's what you do when you're walking. You're like, you take a pause and
you take a pause.
So I gotta say, I didn't necessarily know that. I knew that we were going to be recording this today, but I didn't necessarily know this was going to happen. Is that when I was walking the dog today, speaking of walking and the kind of things that come up, I stopped and I like looked down at this flower that was like on the side of the road, like on the side of the sidewalk, and I went down and picked it. It was like, it wasn't like I was picking somebody's flower. It was literally like a gate. It was like a gate.
City, folks. We most of our flowers are
somebody
free
else's.
range on
And somebody
popping
else's.
through the sidewalk.
So I stop and I like pluck it and I like, is this what I think it is? And I step it and I was like, oh my god, this is a lilac.
Lilacs it's not even lilac season.
Well, it was just starting to bloom, but it was also like not a lilac bush. It was literally like coming, like if this was the fence, it was like coming out like right here, and it was just it wasn't like it wasn't even flowering. It was just like the lilac that I found was flowering. But I was just talking about like, these are the kind of things that you find that the universe kind of throws at you. I am writing the story that I'm writing. The main character's name is Nathan Lilac. And then I
like that name.
I bring the lilac home and find out that Michael's mother's favorite flower, like favorite scent, is lilac.
Aww.
So it's like all of these things that
That's
are
really lovely.
And I feel like she talks about this in the introduction about all of these things that come up when you start aligning yourself. And I feel like that's really what this book is going to be, is like, I feel like over the last month it's been a lot of course correcting for me. Like sometimes it's like turning and going down another lane, other times it's just turning and going down a different road, other times it's just like going into the other lane, and sometimes it's keeping the path. And I feel like that's what this book is here for. It's not the turn around to move forward. It's more like just turn the wheel a little bit back and forth. And I feel like that this kind of alignment is something that I need right now, as I'm moving into the next stage of my life and the first year of married life.
Stages.
Yeah.
Turn and face.
So,
Stages.
ending this, let's talk about my artist date. So, I am looking for a copy of The Book of Magic by Alice Hoffman. And so I, this week, will make it a point to go into the city and...
A book quest. I love a good book quest.
Yeah, I want to find it at...
I'm questing at a real live bookstore?
Yes, at a real life bookstore. I'm not going to buy it online. So my goal is to find it in a used bookstore. So...
It is Ray Bradbury season for me, by the way. If you ever want a really fun video, there's the Fuck Me Ray Bradbury. Sorry I said it.
Gabby,
video.
we curse all the time on this podcast. I literally
It's like
hit explicit.
writer in history. It's delightful. Look that up. It's a great song. You'll be singing
Gabby,
it all day. Fuck Me Ray Bradbury.
I'm going on a book quest.
You're book questing.
I'm book questing.
I'm going to studio tour.
And now...
My whole weekend is one long artist date, but I'll claim the JCast kickoff as the date that I'm setting for it, which is tonight.
And speaking of dates, I have challenged you to find one date during the first 6 weeks and one date during the second 6 weeks.
Okay.
And what are you challenging me for, Gabby?
I have it.
You have it?
I do.
What? I'm a little worried, actually, because I know how worried she is about this dating. So, like, I know she's not. She's all about retribution. So what is it?
Yeah.
What is it?
My challenge for you is to take a yoga class a week. Every one or every other week. It can be every other.
Yeah,
take a yoga class every other week for the 16 weeks, and to
12
teach
weeks,
12 weeks to teach a yoga class with one student.
Okay.
Every other week as well.
Okay. I can do that. So
you're dating yoga, and
I'm dating yoga.
I'm just dating the world.
Gabby gets it off easy because I give her 2 through 12 weeks. She gives me something to do every fucking week.
You named it. You're like, Gabby's all about retribution.
I did name it.
No, I did choose very wisely. I've been in the listening of you for a long time, my love. And you said to me when we planned this whole thing, you said to me that you want yoga as part of your life.
Yeah. So,
and eventually you'll discover, much like Julia, that yoga is life.
So here's a question. Does my Kundalini yoga courses count?
As taking a class, yes.
Okay.
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely. As teaching a class, if you are in the process of getting your certification and you have to teach, that counts. If you're instructing another
I'm not
person.
there yet, of course. So, but yes, I'm taking my teaching certification for Kundalini yoga. I don't know whether or not I'll actually get to the yoga part. Actually, funnily, like the taking the yoga, I just wanted to know. So, yeah, I guess I'm teaching. I am teaching yoga this week, but
you can always teach me.
I can
always make.
I know. I love how she's basically what she's low key doing.
Classes.
Well, yeah, Gabby and I always give each other free classes for things. So it's like, but Gabby's like, you never come to my classes, so this is an easy way for you to do it, and it's free. So there, show up, Josh. That's what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. Okay,
it's true, but I would encourage you to go out. Your Kundalini is great, so if you have that, go out and experience yoga all over the planet.
What's great though is that all I have to do is
But you have a backup in me always. Yeah. I gave you something that I knew that you could do.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't cost.
Well, I know you can date too, Gabby. I know you can do that. I feel like what's gonna happen is that we're gonna get to like week 5 and she's like, oh fuck, I haven't done a date yet. So who am I gonna go out with? She's gonna put like an ad on Facebook.
Gonna be like, I'm gonna hand you. Can you? I have an update. Like I was a lot thinner when I first did that dating app. I have to definitely update to like the size 4 instead of a size 0 now.
What dating app?
I did. My daughter signed me up for Tinder.
Okay.
That one.
You should do.
I've never.
You should do Bumble. I think.
Can't do Bumble.
Why?
I'm doing Hinge. Well, again, my daughter signed me up for Hinge. the actually going on it.
Yeah.
Doesn't really happen.
I feel like you just need to put it into your like in the social media like when you start doing a to-do list, just do like
Hello,
10 minutes.
Friends.
10 minutes on her to-do list. It's like 10 minutes on Bumble.
Do you need some good karma in the universe? Well, Josh says I need a date. If you want good karma, set Gabby up with a date.
Well, what's really funny though is we can always we'll talk about we can talk about some of that because I feel like this is like much
discovery.
Like yeah,
this is total discovery. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean even the yoga stuff is total
the
discovery.
Final frontier.
Dating. I was lucky, and my dating life.
Guys, I've dated like 3 men in the last 30 years.
And now she's gonna date more than that.
It won't be hard to double my numbers.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think this is also this is bridging the gap for us. I think because no. From bridging the gap from recovery to discovery.
Discovery.
I feel like
you're gonna discover yoga. I'll discover dating.
But it's also recovering in the sense of like the thought of I can't do it.
Yeah. No, I know. And this is recovery. Look at me laughing.
Yeah,
I'm taking it. I'm not crying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I can't. I'm just laughing.
Yeah.
And that was my first yoga experience, by the way.
Yeah.
So my best friend missed Pilates because of traffic. And we were both devoted to Pilates. And there was a yoga class.
I could see you being devoted to Pilates actually.
Yeah, it was my jam. It was really my jam. And I missed she missed the Pilates, so she said, will you hang out and do the yoga class after? And it happened to be a Jivamukti style yoga class.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. And so it was headstands and handstands and binds, very first class. And I remember the instructor going, okay, pop yourself into a handstand, and everybody in class did it. And it was the same laugh as in the middle of a yoga class. I'm laughing like you telling me to date.
Very peaceful, very peaceful.
No, it was not a piece. I'm on the floor laughing like, oh, I thought she was, and I did think she was joking, and then everybody popped up. So, and I fell in love with it.
I actually have a very different yet similar story because when I took my first Jivamukti class, they had me do a headstand, and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But then with very little, with more of the instructor there as confidence to get my legs up, and she obviously she held me there. Yeah, she spotted me for a second, but it's I did a fucking headstand in my first. I was like,
I know, right?
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone is really important,
and that's what inversions are all about. To tell you the truth, this is a practice of stepping outside your comfort zone, discovery.
And I feel like this book is a little bit out of our comfort zone too, because we've kind of gotten in the niche of we love Julia, let's do the artist's way. We love Julia, let's try something. But then this I feel like is a happy medium.
She pops a little something and shit, you're doing it, and she. Whoop.
Oh my god.
Okay, try this.
So. In full transparency, I am several weeks ahead because we were supposed to record this weeks ago, and
and we didn't.
As happens.
As life happens.
So, but yeah, the tasks are fun.
They are.
There's some of them.
There's some commitment.
Yeah.
I'm a couple weeks in as well, and I have to say the commitment of one of them says. One, it says, what did you want to do when you were little?
Yeah.
Which she's big on. She loves to go back into your childhood and find that inner child and what they were up to. And then she says, why aren't you doing it? And then she says, now do it.
Yeah.
And that's oh, I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to be an actor. Writing, I can figure out. But acting, how am I going to do that this week? And she says, do it this week. Commit to it this week.
Yeah, you know what it is, Gabby. You just find I feel in that because I'll do the same. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do redo some of these tasks. I'm gonna keep moving forwards. I'm gonna have like I'm time traveling in this book, but I wanted to be an actor. What I will do is I will go look for one of the monologues that I did in A Midsummer Night's Dream and do it on camera, and I will like.
Yeah, I was thinking
because you have this wonderful stand.
I have this wonderful stand, and that's actually one step further. I was just like, you can relearn a monologue, or you can learn a new monologue.
Yeah. I'll probably do it on script because I really suck at memorizing things. It was one of the reasons why. Like, give me a script and.
I did a one-woman show that was an hour and a half long, and I memorized that fucker.
You also wrote it.
Well, that's true. It's actually, it was harder to do, to tell you the truth.
I can believe that because as a writer, you'll also want to change things that don't fit at any given moment because it's yours. Instead, like
actually, that permission is what I've always given myself with anybody's work, which is not necessarily a good thing. But it was harder with my own, to tell you the truth. That's exactly why it made it harder.
So
interestingly enough.
So we have our artist dates. We're going to be doing the tasks, and then we're going to try to record it. Sorry, we're going to try to record every Thursday, which means we'll record and I'll have it out by Thursday night.
And we will also post to our social media. We're getting good about telling you. I am Gabby Creery on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me. Friend me. I am not picky about my friends. Follow me.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Instagram at joshua.t.bell, or you can find me on Facebook as Josh Bell. Either way.
Creery, Creery. Gabby, Gabby. I'm with a Y, not an I.
And if you have any questions, or you have any thoughts or comments and you want to reach out about either anything that Gabby does or anything that I do, you can always email me at howwebegin@gmail.com. It's really easy, howwebegin@gmail.com. And I'll pass on Gabby's information, or we'll talk about whatever comes up. So
but you if you want to date Gabby.
Gabby, don't even put that out there. I feel like we just got 70 emails and this is just being recorded right now.
I don't think that's happening, Josh.
I just don't think it's people you want to be dating. So once again, this is the Shadow Artist Experiment. I'm your host, Josh Bell, and with me is the lovely Gabby. We will see you next week. Bye.
Love you.